Community Podcast.
Welcome back to the Community Podcast. Today we're talking about Leadership Louisa. I'm your host, Madison Chandler, and a 2025 graduate of Leadership Louisa. We have co-host Chrissy Miller, who is a 2024 graduate of Leadership Louisa and class president. And we have special guest Alex Stanley, who is a 2025 Leadership Louisa graduate and a 2025 class president. So let's dive in.
So we've all been part of Leadership Louisa. Some people might not be familiar of that. What is it?
You go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, Leadership Louisa is a developmental class through the chamber. I believe there were some chamber members that brought this program together to have individuals that either work in private or public sectors to work on their leadership skills and also to have a sense of building a community in the place that you work and live in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you were the 2024 class president. What was your experience like in the program?
Overwhelming and exciting all at the same time. It was amazing. It was truly like a humbling and honoring journey. The class is just so deep diving into yourself, into who you are as a person, as a leader, as a teammate, all of these things. But overall, just honoring. I got to serve, like you said, as the 2024 class president and then class chair for y'all's group, and it was just really nice. It was nice seeing everybody come together in our community and want to build up new leaders.
Right, and both of y'all were class presidents, so that was your experience. What was your experience like as the 2025 class president?
Yeah, I would have to echo the same sentiments as Chrissy, although I kind of went into it as in my leadership role, like what can I do better within my leadership role in the county? And I actually learned more about myself personally, which I felt like was pretty interesting throughout this journey because I was looking at it more from a professional standpoint, not more of a personal. And I definitely learned more about myself in a personal aspect through that journey.
Yeah, I would say the same. I think the inner will part of it was definitely a deep dive into like how you are as a person, and it kind of related me back to how I am and related to my parents as well. I learned I was a lot more like my dad, and I would have never thought about it in that way.
I think that if somebody's asking, like, what's one huge takeaway that you're going to get from this, insights is definitely going to be that number one thing that I'm saying. You're going to want this. You're going to need it. You're going to use it for the rest of your career. It's just so insightful, hence the word, seeing, like, what situations you thrive in. Like I knew that I was lacking in some areas as a leader, and it showed me how I can better use those and improve on those. And it was nice. It's eye-opening. You feel kind of like, wow, this is a lot to take in, but it's so nice being able to work through that and see how you can improve.
Yeah, I think it's good for not only like the workplace, but also like you said personally. Like I want everybody to do it so I can know what your personality type is, so I know kind of how to react to how you work, but also how you are in a personal setting.
I think that's the nice part is you're able to see, like, you're able to study people kind of around you and say, okay, I think that they're this way, so maybe I should be interacting with them differently.
Yeah, I felt like in the beginning, I was gravitating more towards people that were more of my personality type, not intentionally, because that was kind of before I knew the person sitting next to me was a yellow. And so I would find myself in the next sessions kind of gravitating more towards those people that had like personalities. Then when we were put in situations where we had to interact with people outside of that box, really made you reflect more about how you interact with people in general.
Yeah. And it makes you want to like flex those muscles and say, okay, I know that I can be a little overwhelming sometimes, but somebody who's a blue personality might be like completely overwhelmed by this. How can I retract a little bit to better suit my teammate?
Right. And all these personalities and everything, it was so great to learn, but what made you apply in the first place to the Leadership Louisa program?
I started seeing information on Leadership Louisa kind of float around on social media. And then I knew that you had participated in the program, and just knowing kind of your testimonial, your background, it really inspired me to kind of just like take the plunge. I was ready for something, as you used the words, transformative experience. That was kind of where I was at. I really was looking for something that would just upscale me in my leadership role, that would enhance what I already bring to the table, learn more about how I can be a better fit for the organization that I work for. And then after I was speaking with you about kind of what like that commitment looks like, what you learned from it personally, that really nudged me into applying for Leadership Louisa.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Madison, what about you? I know that you work for obviously Parks and Recs, and that was something that we kind of pushed you for.
Yeah.
But how do you think that it had an impact on you?
So I was kind of hesitant about the program because like it reminded me of like kind of like a networking thing, and that isn't what I would gravitate towards. But it was such a eye-opening experience, and I think it's because in order to learn and grow, you have to kind of put yourself in those uncomfortable situations. And I think I was a little hesitant because of my age as well. I hadn't seen a lot of people who were in their early 20s doing it, which highly recommend. I think anybody of all ages, you benefit in so many different ways. But I think you really had an influence on me, and I'm so glad I did it, because I think that, like I said, in order to grow, you have to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, which aren't always ideal for how you feel inside.
Yeah, I think that when you're thinking about this experience, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. Can I be open, and can I be vulnerable? And if those are yes, then this is a situation you're going to thrive in. You're never going to regret investing in yourself or your career, and take the plunge. I've gotten to see it from not only a personal standpoint, but also as a business aspect too. I've seen the investment that we've invested into you, and that the county's invested into you, Alex. I've seen it from small business owners invest into themselves, and their businesses are thriving because they're able to be a better leader now. And they're able to serve our community as a greater whole because now they know a little bit more about our community as well, and they've made those connections.
Yeah, you would find it very surprising what being a leader really is. Like, a lot of people think that, their business is doing pretty good, or, they're doing pretty good in their job, so they must be a great leader. I was doing great in my job, but I was not at my leadership point that I thought I was before going into the program. So you just learn so much that you didn't think you could learn, or you thought you were as high as you could be on the leadership hierarchy.
Yeah, one thing that I know that I think stuck out to all of us is the saying, leaders are not just a title. It's not just your role. It's what you do in that role.
Right.
And, anybody can be a leader. You can be, like in our position, it would be like you could be a part-time childcare worker. You can be a leader for your team still. It's showing up, showing that you're doing what it takes to make that happen and have your team be successful. It's not just you're the director or you're the CEO, it's showing up and showing you care at all times.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things that, which was a challenge to me, and if you do the leadership class, you'll understand this more, but I'm a red personality, and I think that kind of connection with my employees or the people who were my coworkers, colleagues, that wasn't there. And I thought being a leader was really just getting the job done, getting it done right. That was me being a leader. But I was lacking in connecting with my colleagues, delegating tasks so that they learn as well, and trying to, control it all and take it all on. That was something that was a big challenge, and it was eye-opening. I need to connect with my colleagues more, people who work under me, and make sure I make those connections, because that's, what leadership is all about as well.
So speaking about that and the changes that you were able to see, what kind of leadership changes do you think happened within that journey?
I think now I spend more time connecting with my colleagues. I'm still not perfect. I still it's what I call tunnel vision. I think somebody else in the class had said, who was my personality type, called it that, was tunnel vision. And that's what it kind of is like. I'm so into what I'm doing that I forget to stop and collaborate, because collaboration is so important for growth in your department or job. And I think I lacked in that field of things. I didn't stop and collaborate and honestly just make sure the people who were working under me were seen, and that they were getting what they wanted out of the position. And I think I do that, or I try to do that a lot more now. What about you, Chrissy?
Yeah, I think that I knew going in that I struggled with connecting with people's emotions, and when I came to work, I wanted it to be about strictly work. And that's the same in my personal life too. And so I knew that I struggled with that. My husband has told me many times that I struggle with that. But I really tried to make that a focus and say, I care about not just the job you're doing, but how are you? Are you doing okay? How's your family? And showing up and showing in that way, and showing that I care for that person as an individual, not just as a piece of my puzzle. I think really has improved our team as a whole as well.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, what was your biggest challenge and something that you're working on now?
Yeah. So you say that you don't connect emotionally. I'm a yellow. I feel like that is at the forefront. I'm a feeler. And so with that, I always want the people around me to be happy. I feel like conflict is one of the things that I struggle with the most. So I feel like I knew going into Leadership Louisa, we were going to be talking about conflict resolution, how to deal with conflict in the workplace. Because for me, it's very easy for me to say, I don't want you upset like that. I feel that. And I don't want you to be in a position where you come into work every day feeling upset. So a lot of times I would put more on my plate to alleviate any of the pressure or stress on that individual. And sometimes that doesn't really balance well in the workplace when you've got deadlines and other things that go on. You have to make sure that you share that responsibility equally. So I had to learn a little bit more about that connection that I have with my personality and emotion and where that falls in the workplace and how to balance that out more. I'm still learning, but I'm getting closer to that. And Leadership Louisa helped me better understand where it was at on that.
Yeah. So Leadership Louisa is one of those unique places that offers something called a community action project. Do either one of you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
CAP. Yeah. So part of the Leadership Louisa with the CAP project is that there are nonprofit organizations in the county that apply to be a part of the CAP project. I think there were 4 or 5 organizations that were selected this year. Our CAP project was Laser, a great nonprofit organization. With that, the organization has their structure, their mission, their vision. But like most organizations, nonprofit, anything like that, they also have challenges within their organization. And so they provide us with their challenges, and our role within that is to find solutions for them. It's not going to always be the catch-all, but it's providing them with an opportunity to succeed with us coming together in our small group, finding solutions for those challenges.
And I know that it's intentional of who you are placed with. So I know both you and I are both yellowish colors, but you were not placed with all yellow people.
I was the only yellow. So Madison is a red. Doris, was a green. And then Mitchell with the Central Virginian, he's a blue. And then Joel, he is also a blue. So we had 2 blues, which was really cool because even though they were 2 blues, I felt like they had some differences. I don't know exactly where at on that scale, but I was like, okay, these 2 are going to be identical. They're going to agree on everything. Like, there's no big deal. But they both were like, would bring something to the table, and the other one would be like, I don't know about that. And so it was interesting to see the 2 blues interact, but also as a whole, how we all interacted. I felt like we definitely played on strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, it's nice always hearing from and seeing how people work together, even though they're so different. And it makes you as a leader really reflect after having those insights and saying, okay, I need to tone this down, or I need to ump this up a little bit to better suit my team now.
Yeah, and I think what was unique about ours is I think we blended so well together. I was more of the creative part of it. Alex kept us all organized, which we most definitely needed. Joel and Mitchell, they were the details. They brought unique ideas to the table, and same with Doris. She brought a unique perspective as well. And I think that all played out perfectly for our team.
And it also got y'all what?
Top dog.
Yes, that's right.
And I think and I don't know, I feel like every team's different, and they all had such good presentations. I think our group in general was just great because they came from so many different perspectives, so many different backgrounds, so many different ages. And I just think that our class was just great. And what about your class?
So our class was a little bit smaller. We had 3 CAP projects, but we all came from different backgrounds. I was a little hesitant, stepping outside of my comfort zone going into this, but I was excited. It was something that I really wanted to pursue. But it was nice because it wasn't everybody just like me. It was people who were in their 50s and restarting their career or trying to figure out how can they lead their team to success as they plan on retiring soon. It was small business owners who were just getting off their feet and figuring out what's my next steps. It was just a really diverse group, and I think that really made me step back and say, wow, this is not just for corporate world or for nonprofits. This is for everybody.
Yeah. And I think there was a lot of, it wasn't necessarily all networking, but there was that aspect. And I think there were connections made. You know, we met people for Parks and Rec that we could utilize, and we could use their assistance and they could use ours, and vice versa. And I think that was very helpful as well for businesses.
Yeah, I think the networking piece plays a big role into this, because I wasn't familiar, even though I've lived here my whole life, I wasn't familiar with all these places in the county. And so it was nice getting to see them, getting to learn a little bit more about them. That way I'm able to inform our public and our citizens about these awesome places that the county does have to offer. I know one of the places y'all got to visit was the Bumpus water ski place. And it's so amazing. And you don't think, when you think Louisa or Lake Anna, that you think of this little hidden gem there. So it's nice to see that and see how Corey operates as a business owner and as a leader as well.
Yeah, and I drove by the Bumpus water ski all the time, and I'd never been there, but it was so great having that experience and going through the tours that we went through to see what other businesses are like in the county. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite out of both y'all? What was y'all's favorite, I think, place to go to, or something that you wish your class had have done that our class did? Because each class kind of has their own unique experiences.
Yeah, I think that we did one more insight group than y'all's group did, and the insights, I think all of us will say this 100 times. That's our favorite part. It's the part that drives us to keep pursuing this, group. However, y'all got to do the REC tour, and that was so awesome. Like, I don't know, I guess it just opened my mind to what REC is. I just assumed, like, they're just fixing our power lines, or they're the power company, one of the options in our area. But what they do and how many people it takes to make that a working success is just truly amazing.
Yeah. What was your favorite?
So you say that was your favorite, and I don't think your class didn't do that one, but that was my favorite. We did the tour of the lettuce factory that's off of School Bus Road, which was like my second favorite as well. It was really cool to see that operation, but overall the tour at REC, just because not only are you observing what those workers do on a daily basis, but it also was very informative on the steps we need to take as a community to make their job easy as well. And it was just it was not just about them, it was about how we all can work together to be a better community.
Yeah. Side note, do not post signs on the electrical poles.
Right. And balloons. Do not release balloons.
There's so much I learned. Also, I didn't know that I guess I know live wires, but I didn't know you weren't supposed to, like, just get out of your car. I guess that's something that everybody knows. I did not know that. Nobody ever told me that.
Yeah.
And
they should do like a whole show on all these REC things of what not to do.
The squirrel better make it in there.
Yeah, there was a squirrel demonstration.
Squirrel.
Yeah. A stuffed squirrel, not a real squirrel. Let me put that out there. So, as the 2025 class president, what does this role mean to you?
Yeah. Well, I'm very honored that I was selected as class president. There were a bunch of individuals within our class that I felt like exemplified what Leadership Louisa class president is. For me, it's going to be in my next step, my next journey, and my role, not only with the County of Louisa and my role there, but also as we enter in the new session, Leadership Louisa 26, I'm looking forward being a guide through that process. Just like you, Chrissy, there was a lot of times I looked at you and I watched you, introduce the class, engage with the class, the insights that you even brought in from your experience. I'm looking forward to providing that same level to the upcoming class. So a lot of good things coming forward.
So who would you recommend to take this?
Oh, anybody. If you live or work in the County of Louisa, that's the beauty of Leadership Louisa. Even though we all work for the county, we're in different sectors, parks and recreation, and I'm in administration. We were just a small sliver of the overall group that participated. We had a bunch of public sectors, private sectors, nonprofit organizations that sent their individuals to participate in the program, and the community that we created engaging with one another, that's where it's at. And I think that anybody who is interested in building on their leadership skills, wanting to learn more about themselves personally and professionally, don't hesitate. Do it.
Yeah, I 100% want to reflect what Alex said. This is something that you're never going to regret.
Right.
You're going to want to invest in yourself. You're going to want your business to invest in you. Not only as a business owner are you getting to experience all this amazing information and take it all in, but you're getting to better your community at the same time. A community can't be bad with more leaders.
Yeah.
It's all of us working together to better this place.
What about somebody who's looking to further their career or maybe look at other jobs or gain their leadership that way? Do you think that's something that this Leadership Louisa would be good for?
Yeah, speaking from experience, so I started this program in 2024 as our rec supervisor, and I was looking to further my credentials and say, how can I prove myself? And I was young, I didn't have that much experience, and I wanted to say, I'm confident in myself, and I want to show everybody else around me that I am the leader and can be the leader that our team needs. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. I think that 100% it paid off. I was able to secure my new position, deputy director, and I think that it played a great role in it.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think?
Yeah. So for me, I definitely knew that working for the county is where I wanted to stay. Taking on additional responsibilities is one of those things where, change is always difficult, at least for me. So knowing that I was ready to propel myself into this next stage of where I wanted to be in my leadership, for me, the takeaways is not only am I where I'm meant to be, but also when those next steps come available for me, I'll be ready for it. Hearing other people's stories about leadership within their organization, some of it was not always positive, just dynamics, personality differences. I've been with the county for 20 years, and I will say that in my current role that I've been in for the last 10 years, I've learned that there is amazing leadership in Louisa County. You take Chrissy, for example, who not only participated in this program, but look at all of the positive changes that you're making within the organization you work in. I feel like that is just a ripple effect of other things that go on in the county. Working for the county administrator who oversees all of the different organizations and sectors within the county. And then I work closely with the Board of Supervisors. We deal with the public on a daily basis. And the leadership that thrives, that shows day in, day out. This leadership class helped me understand, I'm where I'm meant to be. The leadership here is amazing. And I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people also, I've heard of other people who were in the program, they were having problems within their organization with people that they're working with. Yeah. And they kind of collaborated with our insights person who, I don't know what you call him, I guess the instructor for insights, collaborating on ways to figure out that problem with someone who has a completely different personality and is not always willing to change. Mm-hmm. And I think that's if you're having issues in your organization, some people aren't getting along, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of resolve those issues and figure out different avenues in order to figure those things out within your organization.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of organizations would benefit from taking and investing their people into this because, for instance, I know as seniors in our fields, we did personality assessments and we've done them before. We've seen, those results and they were great. They were what they needed to be. But this was so much more detailed and intimate and educational. Yeah. So while we spent a day doing it, we got, 6 months of this, fully intrusive and finding out so much more about ourselves. Yeah. So I think the benefit was just immense.
Yes, absolutely.
After we got our reports back from Insights, I think I asked 5 people, I was like, did anybody else's go this in detail? How does it know this much about me? I don't even know this much about me. And it wasn't like you put all these details in the test. It was just normal questions. It wasn't that detailed, but it happened to know so many details of how you are, how you act. So I think it was just so cool to see that. And I was mind boggled when I got the report back.
I felt the same way. I opened it up and read it, and I was like, did somebody talk with my family?
Yeah.
Have you been following me my entire life to understand, this is exactly how I handle these situations? You would think it's kind of just a template of, okay, she's a yellow, and this is what yellows are. And no, Alexandra, in these situations, reacts this way. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I really do.
And it was nice though, as a coworker with Madison and as even like overseeing our team, it was nice to say, okay, wow, this is how Madison feels if somebody's doing this, or if I present it this way, this might not be the best for Madison. Like when I'm trying to give Madison feedback, if she's already preoccupied, that's not the time to give her feedback. But I didn't realize that, and that you weren't able to focus on the feedback until I read your insights. And I was like, okay, now I know. I need to schedule a time with Madison for feedback.
Yeah.
And that works for some people.
Yeah. Did anybody else after or during the course look at other coworkers and say, oh, if I had to put my finger on it, you're a blue, you're green, you're a red. I definitely was looking around. I'm like, okay, well, if this person took the test and they came out as a red, I now understand that this is the way that you handle those situations, and therefore I should not take that personally. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think constantly during it, I was like, okay, I think my husband's this. I think James is this. I think, my sister is this. I was just ready to like label everybody these
take
colors.
The test.
I wanted my fiance to take it so bad, and I still do want him to take it, because I feel like, honestly, in a relationship standpoint, it's also very helpful to know how somebody reacts to something, with things maybe not to say, maybe to let them cool off. Sometimes people are ready to just talk right away. So I think it was pretty interesting in that standpoint as well.
Yeah, it was something that, like, again, when they ask, what is like your biggest takeaway from this, 100% insights. That's well worth it right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The one exercise that I don't know if you felt this way about it, but I think it was to ask 3 or 4 people to describe 3 words at your best and 3 words at your worst. And I kind of broke that down to, people someone that I work for, someone that I work with, or they work for me, one of my kids, and then my husband. And it was pretty interesting to see a common theme with the best. The worst, I must show my worst a little bit more in the workplace, which is really surprising to me, because I don't, or my family just didn't want to be honest about me at my worst. You would think a 19-year-old girl would be like, oh gosh, this is you at your worst, most definitely. But it was pretty interesting. But also some of the items that they would classify as, oh, me at my worst, some people would say, oh, I would take that as my best. So I feel like your personality and the way people perceive you, it's different across the board.
I think that's kind of what I got from that, is my worst actually is my best, but it's like, you work really hard, but you don't delegate tasks and you don't give people the jobs that they need to have.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, you get a lot done, but you're burnt out, but you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was interesting to learn.
Yeah.
So Alex, as new class chair, if you could create one piece of advice, what would it be?
My advice is don't hesitate to apply for this. We've said it before, Leadership Louisa is a transformative experience. It's one that I think I had questions before I applied, and going into it, what am I going to gain from it? What you're going to learn and gain from this experience is going to be way more than what you would expect from it. It changes you personally and professionally in a very positive way. It helps you build stronger relationships with the people around you, because you get to better understand how they interact or react to certain things. If you're looking to enhance your leadership role within your organization, do it. You're not going to regret it. Even if you are a small business owner, you are a one-member team within your small business from home, and you're about to make that plunge into adding more employees, but you need to know more about yourself as a leader, do it. This is a great way. I think we had class participants that were in that situation. They needed to know, what was this next step into propelling me into enhancing the organization that I'm operating from my home. Even to someone who's been in an organization like myself for 20 years and is very happy, learning more about yourself, and like you said, putting yourself in situations that are vulnerable, that you're going to be uncomfortable, but you're going to gain more positive things from that. You're going to say, okay, this is how I'm going to be at my best and my worst. And there's nothing wrong with being reflective of who you are and how you can enhance that and make positive changes within the community that you live and work in.
Yeah, and I would say don't just take it from the three of us. We all, like I said, I think Alex has said, we all work for the county. Ask other participants. Jen Mastro with Lake Anna Swim Company is like a small business owner, or past classes like Julie Smith with Mineral Mercantile. Ask these people, get to know somebody and say, what was your experience like? Not everybody's experiences were the same, but I can guarantee there was one consistent thing. Everybody thrived after that class.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you really enjoyed and really got to know all about Leadership Louisa. I hope that if you are a business owner or somebody who is employed by a business, that you take the opportunity and really deep dive and look into Leadership Louisa and see if it's a good fit for you. I hope you stay tuned, and they are shooting for 26 and 26. So we'll see you later. Bye.